Oh man.
Why did it not touch the freaking three?
What's up?
Is that auto loss?
Doo-doo.
The three didn't get touched.
Didn't feel like using headphones today, dude. I need something light.
I did it, Max.
So...
It said it was gonna touch the three. The game will freaking lie.
Excuse me. Earplugs it is. Ow. You know, I should not plug it in my ear just in case these explode. It's never a good idea to plug stuff. And you know, like headphones and earplugs.
See, it happened to him too.
Plug it to an amp. Don't put it on first. There we go. All right. What up, dudes?
The five's right
I have
there.
another stream in the background. I'm just
Where's the five gonna go though?
watching I was watching Moose play
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yakuza. He's just playing pool in Yakuza. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, indeed. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But I should put my own music. I don't feel like doing State Night. I no longer care about the anniversary or Melty Blood. So something non-DMCA. Do I have Dynasty Warrior? Is Dynasty Warrior DMCA? I never what the fuck? I don't know. I never checked. But I guess I check now. Holy shit! That's Oder Nep. The best Nep. Oh my god. And that's best girl Uzume. And Imoto-san Nep gear. Perfect. Absolute fucking cinema. This song's pretty good. Just need something different. What else do I have? What other games? Danganronpa, that's DMCA, I think. Final Fantasy, that's all DMCA. Tekken. Persona is DMCA, so no Persona. Ultra Street Fighter 4. You know, Dynasty War is not bad. Let's see, 1 hour long. Clock Up visual novel. Nice. This makes me want to just listen to Blaze Blue. Where's Blaze Blue at? What is it? If I want to hear a guitar, I want to hear Blaze Blue. Where's Damn it. Rebellion, right? Yeah. Damn, you know, honestly, listen to Blaze Blue. I'd rather listen to Guilty Gear. Right? Where's the fuck is the real shit? Damn. Accent core is so fucking cool. Remember when fighting games used to be cool as fuck? Oh fuck, this one's so good. Hey, can we buff this up? Oh my god, please. Oh god. What was the one I really like? Hold on. This one's good too, though. Which one I really like? Was it Axel theme? No. Johnny's? No. Damn, Dizzy theme is so fucking good. Slayer is good too, but I want to hear the guitar. It's this one, Get Down. Yeah. This song's so sick. Let me put up my tablet. Thanks to this tablet, I watch more Twitch streams and shit. Dude, you want to play Guilty Gear? Not that strive shit. Let's play Exit Corn Bros. Right. Yeah, this sounds sick. Let's play Exit Corn. Yeah, man. This shit was cool. I remember my cousin had this game. This game was sick, dude. Oh, man. I like this one a lot. Get down! Get down! I ever actually played the visual novel. Actually, ever. How can you be a Fate fan and never play the visual novel? Make that make sense to me. There's no way. I guess it could be anime only. Can you be an anime only fan? You'll never know the memes though. How will you understand the legendary threesome? Get down, get down. This song's sick. This song's so fucking sick. I forgot what I was going to talk about. I don't know. I got distracted. Whoa, horror puzzle game. I was just talking about this yesterday. Damn, this song's sick as fuck. Bro, I want to play Guilty Gear, man. Damn, this song's sick. This game was sick as fuck, dude. Hey, this game was sick as fuck. This game, man. You know they added a new character in BlazBlue. Central Fiction. What's her name? The girl that looked like platinum, but it's not platinum. But it's kind of platinum, I guess. You want to play some BlazBlue? That'd be kind of sick. Part of me kind of want to play BlazBlue. I don't know. I have to finish up my visual novels run though. Illegal, blah blah blah. How's the puzzle game? Man, like this? I like Course Party style or Resident Evil style. But just find shit to open a door. I prefer that kind of puzzle game. Live stream archive will be available, blah blah blah. Did they announce anything for Mihoyo? Besides what we already know. Yeah, that's so sick. That was sick as fuck. Milia theme is good too. There we go. That's pretty good. Biking theme. I like excerpt biking theme. But this one's pretty good too. Let's do fuck it. Holy Order. Fuck yeah. They did announce Red Garden. Oh, close. They announced Kugetsu Toya remake. How do you feel about that, huh? Kugetsu Toya remake. The fucking sequel of Tsukihime before we get Red Garden. What the fuck? How the fuck we get a sequel before Red Garden? The game's not even completed yet, and we got a sequel. A cat is fine too. Cat. Neko Arc. Or are you talking about Chainsmoker Cat Girls? Yani, if you like Neko Arc, I recommend watching this anime. Yani Neko, the girl right here. She's just like Neko Arc, and Neko Arc was addicted to cigarettes. She's fucking Neko Arc, dude. She's the embodiment spirit of Neko Arc. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. She's fucking Neko Arc. I bet Neko Arc smoked cigarettes too if she could. You like Yorichi? Yorichi? Are you talking about Bleach? I like Yorichi too. Let's see. Man, this song's so sick. Holy shit. Yeah, especially the cat form. Oh, I got no comment. You can mean many ways on that form. But I like the God of Thunder. And I like the Aztec too. God of Thunder too. I like that. 666 deliver or die. If we deliver to a shady place, new game, blah blah blah. I'm not reading that. I'm tired of edgelord shit. I guess I'm not tired of the edgelord shit, but you know. Alright, there's nothing on Twitter. Novinsky never. That motherfucker dead. Damn, no food news. Man, Taco Bell is trying to do anything it can to make you eat at Taco Bell. No, Taco Bell, fuck off. I'm not eating there. I don't want fucking diarrhea. Go away. Culliver is coming from Wendy's. Yeah, I'd never seen a Culliver's in my life. Okay, I lied. But that shit's pretty rare where I live at. Press X. I didn't even watch any anime. Was there any anime today? What's another one? Fuck it, we could do biking theme. Biking theme's pretty sick. Damn, this theme is fucking sick. What was that thing about? Dude, it just made me forget about everything. Damn, man. Damn, dude. That shit's good. There are no new anime, just Yuri. Today is Yuri Tuesday. I didn't know that. Only Yuri, huh? I can't believe it's all Yuri. Did High Dive get any new anime? I never seen any anime at High Dive this season. Oh yeah, that dancing anime. And this one, Forsaken, blah blah blah. Yeah, I pass. I pass. Alright, please no AI dicks. Please no AI dicks. Please no AI dicks. Go slow, go slow. I'm so sick of AI dicks popping up on my Steam. God. Please go slow. Slow grind! Okay. Not bad. Beast of Reincarnation? Souls-like. You know, I'm kind of tired of the Souls-like series. Like, if it's not Dark Souls, I ain't fucking with it, to be honest. Like, all the Souls-like ripoff is, they're all okay. The only one that I will play is Mortal Shell. I'll play Mortal Shell. Oh, Tokon is out! No, it's out Friday, right? Oh, Thursday? It's out Thursday? I think I'm gonna skip this one. I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't know, man. I gotta think about it. So far, the combo doesn't look that cool to me. It's just, I mean, some of the combos could be pretty cool. I like Magic combo. Magic have an install. So she like gets you to the corner, she do her thing, B&B, then she activate, install, and then that's when she fuck you up a little bit more. Which is kind of cool. Magic got some cool shit. Besides Magic, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone do some cool shit with anyone else. Grain Rock. Alright, you guys ready? What time is it? You guys ready to play Mahoyo? Dude, I'm halfway through the game. I don't even know what it's about. Fuck. Dude, I played 19.6 hours. And I don't even know what the game's about, man. What the fuck? How the fuck you play something for 20 hours and not know what it's about? I don't know. Oh, trophies. How much trophies am I missing? Is it really 13 chapters? It's 12 chapters in the main story. And an extra. So I just finished chapter 7. I'm on chapter 8 now. Oh, chapter 8 is another extra. So I'm on chapter 9. Okay. That's where shit gets real. It looks like it. Sister returns. And then chapter 10, Snow Junction Cosmic Nuisance. Okay. This is where the real story begins. up? Ah. Alright. Okay, let's play some more Mahoyo. Get my hand in a comfy place where the saber mat is at. That's loud. My ears are pretty sensitive right now. Press continue, right? Are you for real? I read everything in the archive. Yeah. What's the next chapter? Alright, let's see. So I'm 50% done with the game, it looks like. Looks like when I look at the trophies, are you for real? Chapter 8. Okay. When I look at the trophies, they look like there's gonna be one more big event and that's it. Misaki High School winter vacation begin in mid-December. The tranquil air of the school was a refreshing change of pace from the more competitive school and their nationally famous sports team and exam-oriented curriculum. The empty, newly constructed building evoked images of a pure white swan descending upon the still winter lake. The modern school building felt alive in its stillness, in spite of the absence of its lifeblood of students. Most students never knew what this building used to look like. It was just a small, run-down wooden building, a shadow of its former self. The former school was never torn down and now stood in lonely silence. It was tucked away deep in a seemingly infinite wood that stretched across the mountains. The sound of brooms sweeping dead leaves resonated in the air. The ocean of leaves had accumulated into piles as big as sand dunes. Sweeping was a futile venture at this point. An ominous feeling lingered in the air, perhaps the result of 2 years of abandonment. Cleaning the inside of the building alone would take more than a few days to finish. Not to mention,
ほんとだり存在価値が見出せねえばっかじゃねえの冬休みは短いってのになんでこんなことやらせんだよ生徒会は
the misguided youth sent here for the job wasted no time making it clear he wanted no part in the beautification efforts.
っていうかジャージでやらせんなよジャンパーぐらい着させろよな何これもしかして体育の報酬寒中マラソン俺体育だけはサボったことねえんすけどね
Osuke Kinomi continued to mumble and grumble to himself as he reluctantly swept away at the ground. Meanwhile, Sojiro silently and swiftly continued his sweeping, glaring at Kinomi out of the corner of his eye.
おい何真面目にやってんだよこんなの適当でいいんだってだいたい40人しかいねえのにこんな山みたいな庭の掃除なんか終わるかってんだ
終わらないことなんてない少しうるさいぞ木の実は
Kinomi went back to idly sweeping his broom, without even glancing over at Sojiro. Morning on the mountain were cold. There was no hint of sun in the cloudy sky above. Ash-gray light illuminated the rear courtyard. The sharp cold of midwinter pierced through everyone's glove as if they did not exist. A day like this was best spent indoors under warm blankets, but for some reason they were out here cleaning. The Special Winter Cleaning Team. That was the name given to this elite force sent to clean up this dilapidated, overgrown mountain. The other students had put their faith into this team to fulfill this beautification mission, respecting them for their sacrifice. The reality, however, was that this was nothing more than a ragtag, dare-losing gang of students needing remedial lessons before the exams. They were the victims of a year-long arm-twisting scheme by the student council. Who in their right mind would come out here to sweep up leaves with a blizzard looming on the horizon? Other than one of the 40 assembled, none of them had any semblance of interest in the task at hand.
おい見ろよしずき、赤羽たち向こうで焼き芋とかレトロな真似してやがる。な、2番煎じはいかにも頭悪いしな。そうだ、俺たちはイカでも焼かねえ。
Kinomi did not want to be here. To begin with, it was constantly trying to break Sojiro into joining him. The cleaning squad was divided into groups. Sojiro and Kinomi were in charge of cleaning behind the gymnasium. Sojiro was the leader of the platoon. Kinomi was the grunt.
ああ、こことあっちの垣根をきれいにしたら、焼き芋だろうと焼きイカだろうと猫鍋だろうと好きにしよう。その頃にはちょうどお昼だ。
Sojiro said as he expertly packed his swept leaves into trash bags. 2 hours had passed since they assembled on this foggy morning at 7 o'clock. While everyone else chattered and laughed as they worked, Sojiro alone had worked in complete silence at a time-blistering pace since he started. The sheer amount of work he put in was likely the only thing keeping him from complaining of the cold in his thin jersey.
なあ、やめようぜ。見ろ、そこの池、スケートリンク。やっぱ池？とにかくそこの池らしきものだってカチカチに凍ってるぐらいなんだぜ。こんな雪原じゃ人体は普通動かねえよ。機械伯爵でもなきゃだよ。そろそろ人間狩りが始まるよ。なんでいい加減休憩しねえ。せっかく枯葉集めたんだから燃やして温まんないとさ。どうせ監視役は殿下しかいないんだしさ。なあ、焼きイカやろうぜ。焼きイカ。
For some reason, Kinomi was droning on about his squid. Sojiro had managed to withstand the barrage of complaints from his comrade, but even he was reaching his limit.
木の実、頼むから。
Just then, Sojiro saw the Grim Reaper himself, creeping behind Kinomi. In his hand, he held a rake instead of a soft bamboo broom.
いいぜ。お前がイカなんてもんを用意してるほどの大人物だってんなら、慎んでイカ焼きぐらい許可してやるよ。なんなら醤油はこっちで用意してやろう。
Kinomi shot to attention at the voice behind him.
その物言い、築地なにがし。
Before quickly turning around, swinging his broom in the process. Tsumaru easily blocked his swing with his rake.
ああ、てめえ、やる気十分じゃねえか。溢れる労働意欲を抑えきれないってわけか。なんならシベリアコースにでも行っちまうか。
女ども集めて焼却炉に陣取ってる野郎の言葉なんざ聞かねえよ。真冬に南国気分とかマジ寒いわ。
Both boys glared at each other with a wry smile. Broom and rake locked in embrace. These two were only friends with each other on school grounds.
飛び丸、一応彼は戦力なんだから邪魔しないでくれ。
Both of them scoffed angrily and put away their weapons. They both knew better than to argue with Sojiro, the only one cleaning with a garbage bag in hand.
それで何しに来たんだ飛び丸。君はあったかい焼却炉の前で永遠に火の管理をすると豪語していたんじゃなかったっけ。
A harsh comment. Apparently, even Sojiro had a slight taste of drama.
なんてこった。善良な生徒ですら、俺をそんな目で見るのか。
Tsubimaru seemed sad at Sojiro's observation. But as long as Tsubimaru continued to claim he was helping the girls clean by doing nothing more than stand in front of a pile of burning leaves, Sojiro found it hard to sympathize.
いいから要件を言えよ。殿下と違って俺らは暇じゃねえんだ。
ああ、そうかよ。宗次郎、そろそろ小休止だ。向こうで温まろうよ。
お、なんだブレイクかよ。話せるじゃん殿下。
Denka.
ああ、てめえは除外に決まってんだろ。特権は功労者にのみ与えられるもんだ。焼却炉の前に来たけりゃ、それ相応の貢ぎ物を持ってきやがれ。具体的に言うと、リアカー1台分のゴミ袋な。
ひっでえ、生徒会応募。
Hinomi complaint naturally fell on deaf ears. Tsubimaru had been selected to lead the cleaning operation, and his word was final. If Hinomi was to continue to push his buttons, he knew he would be on cleaning duty tomorrow and the next day too.
さあ、行くぞ。誰の趣味か知らねえが、なぜか汁粉の缶が山ほどあってな。中華まんの一つでもあった方が気が利くってもんなんだがね。あれか、遭難用のチョコレートみたいなもんか。ったく、あいつの考えは未だにわかんねえな。
Sojiro reassured Tsubimaru by saying that he thought the food would do just fine for everyone.
なんだよ、行かねえのか、宗次郎。
ああ、自分はここに残るよ。旦なら木の実の言うように葉を燃やせばいい。そこに池もある。火の始末なら安心だ。
This was clearly for Kinomi benefit. Tsubimaru furrowed his brow while Kinomi shivered from the cold.
俺は今友情ってもんを実感している。すげえな、真心って本当にあったんだ。くそ、待ってろしずき、今赤羽たちから芋を奪ってくる。
Akabana. Perhaps shy to show his true feelings, Kinomi ran off to the neighboring group.
な、予想はしてたけどな。ほらよ。
Tsubimaru pulled out a hot can from his jersey pocket, scratching his head in exasperation. He pulled out 3 in all, 1 from each jersey pocket and 1 from his pants
さっさ
pocket.
と焚き火の用意をしようぜ。俺もこっちで休むことにするわ。
付き合いがいいのはお互い様だな。
Soichiro quickly prepared the leaves for the fire. Carefully gathered them up for them to burn neatly.
慣れてるな。
マッチがあるから楽なんだ。
Soichiro crouched down in front of the burning leaves and warmed his hands near the flames. Even though he showed no signs of being cold, underneath it all, Sojiro was cold too. He gazed into the fire as the smoke rose from the pile of leaves, as if remembering the good times from his past. Tsubimaru felt a touch of concern as he looked at Sojiro. He saw within him homesickness and retrospection. He also saw a dark shadow looming over him, like a stranger in a foreign land without a home.
元気ねえな、宗次郎。
まあね、少し疲れてる。
悩み事なら相談に乗るぜ。気が向いたら話してくれ。
Tobimaru continues speaking with the pull tab from the can of sweet red bean soup, still around his index finger. Sojiro was focused on the fire.
そういえばな、お前が学校休んでる時、青崎に殴られたぜ。なんでも俺は大ボラ吹きだそうだ。
すごいな。大抜擢じゃないか。
Sometimes Sojiro will reply incoherently, like this. Tobimaru chalked it up to cultural differences.
なあ、青崎とはどうなってんだ？テスト前は駅まで一緒に帰ってただろ？うまくいってんのか？あれから。
It was obvious to everyone that was far from the case, yet Tobimaru asked anyway.
ああ、今は一緒に住んでるよ。
Sojiro went with a truthful, blunt response.
ああ、そうか。一緒と来たか。
Tobimaru tried to laugh it off, Sojiro all too casual confession, however.
はっ！一緒に住んでるぞ！
どうした飛び丸？火でも飛んだか？
飛んでねえし、それより怖え。おい、今の聞き捨てならねえたわごとは本当の話か？
Sojiro protested. Tobimaru replied with silence.
その余裕、マジか。女に興味なさそうな顔してて、やることやってんじゃねえかてめえ。
Tobimaru had always felt that he and Sojiro were equal match strength-wise, but for some reason he could not shake the feeling that Sojiro was now his superior in the brain department. Sojiro cast a rare angry glare in Tobimaru's direction.
こっちこそ聞き捨てならない。なんだ、その女に興味はないってのは。
Sojiro seemed genuinely angry, and his voice was icy. This uncharacteristic level of anger from Sojiro was enough to get Tobimaru to back down.
いや、悪い。そんな雰囲気あったんだよ、お前さんは。それは謝る。けどよ、青崎と一緒に住んでるってどういうことだ？いくらなんでも一足飛びすぎだろ。
別に君が期待しているようなことはない。彼女が住んでいるところの部屋を借りることになっただけだ。屋根の裏にある部屋なんだけど、板張りで山小屋を思い出すんで気に入ってる。
Tobimaru did not bat an eyelid at hearing that Sojiro now lived in the attic. He continued his questioning.
屋敷ってあの久遠寺の屋敷か？それこそまさかだぜ。宗十郎、お前一体どんな手品を使いやがった？
飛び丸こそあの家を知ってるのか？
そりゃな。これでも月次家期待の跡取り候補だぜ、俺は。久遠寺グループのご令嬢が住んでる屋敷ぐらいは知ってるさ。霊園女学院の2年生だろ、確か。
久遠寺何
Sojiro was looking more confused than ever, so Tobimaru reluctantly explained everything as simply as he could so Sojiro could understand.
久遠寺グループつうか財団だな。平たく言えば一族全部がお金持ちで仲良く会社を経営してる連中だと思えばいい。複合企業とまではいかないが、輸出業じゃかなりのもんだ。ホームグラウンドは国外で、先代の会長の英国 B 機がたたって一時期は沈みかけてたんだが、5年くらい前かね。本拠地をこっちに移してからはご存知の通りだ。会長が息子に移ってからはきちんと持ち直して、今や町の名士だろ。ここでも久遠寺の名前はそこかしこで目に入る。この学校の建て直し予算の半分は 連中からだしな。
Despite the oversimplified explanation, Sojiro still seemed to not be getting it. With that, Tobimaru decided to give up on trying to explain.
あれだ。想像もできない金持ちってこと。総の字が働いてる喫茶店だって、クオンジが向こうから持ってきたブランドだぜ。今じゃ全国チェーンになっちまったがな。
つまりすごく偉いんだね。おかしいな。ならなんであんなに倹約してるんだろう。
Sojiro mumbled incoherently to himself. Tobimaru looked at him with a complex expression on his face, somewhere between envy and heartfelt sympathy.
しかし、うまいことやったな、宗十郎。それで、本当のところはどうなんだ？男と女が同じ屋根の下にいれば、やることは一つだろ？
案外古いな、飛び丸も。
抜かせ。そのあたりをごまかしてたら男なんざやってらんねえ。
そりゃごもっとも。実を言うと正直な話。
Though Sojiro and Akko were living together, there was absolutely no chemistry between them. Though that was not to say that living in such close quarters as they did, unintended mishaps did not occur from time to time. But even still. He's not going to talk about magic, right?
驚くぐらいそういうことにはなってない。あの屋敷すごく広いし。
He remembers, right? He can't talk about magic. Everyone was often busy with their own affairs, so there was no opportunity for that sort of thing to happen.
そもそもだな。もし飛び丸だったら下宿先が同じってことだけで青崎に言い寄る気になるかい？
いや、ならねえな、そりゃ。
Tobimaru nodded intently, as if he was thinking back over his many ex relationship.
いや、健全だな。
ああ、健全だろ。
Sojiro gave no more than a quick affirmation to Tobimaru's despondent murmur. But, he was doing fine. But besides his physical health, it was surely Sojiro's personality that enabled him to maintain a semblance of peace, dealing with both Akko and Alice while living in that mansion.
でも、それとは別の話で、青崎には頭が上がらないんだ。彼女にはもう返せない借りがあってさ。
Sojiro's eyes turned slightly serious as he stared into the fire. Tobimaru felt that there was more to those words than what Sojiro was letting on.
もう返せない借りだ。
Sojiro merely nodded in silence at Tobimaru's inquisitive acknowledgement. And just then, a strange scream pierced through the still silence of the wood like a knife.
なんか聞こえたな。
ああ、木の実だ。
Hinomi? Sojiro had already stood up before he responded. He bolted to the frozen pond, broke the ice with his broom, scooped up some of the frigid water in the bucket, and threw it on the fire, all in less than 10 seconds. Then he immediately ran off into the depth of the woods, from where he heard the scream. Tobimaru followed after him in panicked confusion.
飛び丸、この先に何かあるのか？
確か旧校舎が残ってるはずだ。
他には野犬の住処とかそういう嫌な話は？
はあ？いや、いるとしても鹿かウサギじゃねえか。
なら怖がることもないか。 急ごう、飛び丸。
Perhaps because of his time spent growing up in the mountains, Sojiro quickly sprinted over the slippery dead leaves. Tobumaru was not particularly cautious himself, but nevertheless he could not keep up with Sojiro in here. Before long, Sojiro found himself running alone. Where foliage blocked the natural trail, he would sometimes clear it away by brute force, but just as often he would expertly weave through the bush. It was clear that he was used to dealing with this level of nature. After a few minutes, Sojiro arrived at the clearing. I scratched my ankle. The walls of trees had ended. It was obviously man-made clearing here on the mountainside. In the distance was that what looked like an old wooden school building. It was a small, aesthetically pleasing building, no larger than an elementary school, lost in depths of the winter wilderness.
Kinami!
Kinomi stood alone on the old school grounds.
んなんでしずきまで追いかけてきたん
A sour expression came over Sojiro's face as Kinomi tilted his head in confusion.
そっちこそどうしたんだ、変な声上げて。
声いや、そりゃガキ相手に怒鳴ったけどよ。ほら、あのガキだよ。芋持ってるだろ。であ、中に逃げ込みやがった。
Kinomi pointed resentfully toward the old school building. There was indeed somebody standing at the entrance to the building, just over 300 feet in the distance.
たく、こんな上まで来やがって。いつから子供の遊び場になってんだ、ここ。
Kinomi shrugged his shoulders to signal how little he cared what the young child did with their time. This place was deep in the woods, but it was not particularly dangerous. Sojiro had run through the woods to get here, but there was also a paved road leading to the spot from outside the woods too. Kinomi apparently followed that road to get here.
ん？子供？
Sojiro squinted.
ああ、金髪なんでさっきはちょっと驚いたけどな。外国人の子供ってなんか怖いだろ
It was indeed quite rare to see a foreigner in a provincial town such as Misaki. Sojiro had never seen a foreigner in person, which made the whole thing even more mysterious.
それで、木の実はなんでここまで？
いや、赤羽たちがよ、ガキに食料奪われたって言うからここまで追いかけてきたんだ。そういうことだから、二人がかりであのお子様とっちめようぜ。
怖いことを考えるな、木の実は。
Sojiro could not find it in him to agree with his plans. It seemed unfair to team up against a little kid.
いいから帰ろう。あの子こっちを睨んでるじゃないか。それに飛び丸にこんなところ見られたら、冬休み中ずっと山の掃除で終わることになるぞ。
Sojiro took Kinomi by the shoulder and began leading him back to the path he came from. Kinomi cast one last gaze at the old school building before reluctantly following. And we don't get to see what he looked like, that kid. Just then Tomomoto appeared, panting and out of breath. I wonder if he's key to the story. Whatever you call it.
宗十郎。
Tomomoto could hardly catch his breath. He arrived about 3 minutes behind Sojiro, despite having a good set of legs on him.
それでどうした木の実、無事か
What you got? I don't know why I'm so itchy.
はあ無事も何も殿下こそどったん
Kanomi seemed perplexed at Tobimaru first ever display of concern for him.
なんだそりゃ。てめえ、あれだけの大声を上げておいて、しらばっくれる気か上で何かあったんだろうが。
すまない。こっちの早とちりだった。飛び丸は知らないだろうけど、木の実は時々バイト先でも規制を上げる癖があるんだ。
Kanomi looked disapproving, as Sojiro nonchalantly shared his insight. This was the first he had ever heard of it.
怪しいな。またよからぬことでも企んでるんじゃねえかそこの。
ないよ。戻って掃除の続きをするぞ、飛び丸。
Sojiro pat Tobimaru on the shoulder a couple of times and started walking. Tobimaru cast a doubtful glare in his direction as he meandered off. He had a feeling that Sojiro was covering for Kinomi somehow.
まさか、旧校舎に火なんてつけてないだろうな。
誰もしないよ、そんなことは。
Sojiro kept walking and did not even look back at Tobimaru as he spoke. Tobimaru and Kinomi tilted their heads in confusion as they reluctantly followed the unusually aggressive Sojiro back to the cleaning spot. And so, the special winter cleaning team activity ended uneventfully. The time was 3 in the afternoon. That was weird, that entire section had no music, man. Alright. Upon departing, Kinomi and his crew invited Sojiro to come hang out with them, but he declined politely due to his job that evening. He had about 2 hours until his shift opened, or began. Not quite enough time to do anything fun, but just enough time to have to fill it with something. Sojiro thought about relaxing in a park somewhere, but quickly changed his mind after remembering how cold it was, even in the city. Not to forget that Alko handed him those pills in the morning. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah. Alko was absolutely correct in her prediction. Heading back to the mansion now would be a waste of time. There was no reason for him to return to the mansion until after his shift at work. Yeah, he's gonna take the poison pills. Alright. Still, Sojiro found himself on the way back anyway. Having grown up deep in the mountains, a little 2-hour walk was really no sweat off his back. Misaki was one of the more quiet residential areas in Misaki City. The only thing that really stood out here was Shiro Inuzuka. It was a hill that led directly into the woods. The silhouette of the mountain served as backdrop to suburbia, silently overshadowing the small human action of the people who lived there. And even in this modern day of technological progress, the people here were always careful to pay reverence to the nature around them. If that mansion were a shrine, it would not be a haunted house, but a famous tourist attraction.
というより、今更気づいたけど。
The houses around Shiro Inuzuka were all magnificent. Sojiro understood as he looked from the bottom of this hill, where the rest of the town lived at the roof of the mansion, tucked away in the woods. He understood that Tobimaru was talking about how the Kuanchi family who owned the mansion might be the richest people in town.
その割に家賃を取るところを見ると、やっぱり嫌われていると見るべきか。
Sojiro began walking toward the mansion with such thoughts simmering in his mind. The feeling of the hard asphalt beneath his feet instead of the soft dirt felt lonely and isolating. He walked along the paved road for 10 minutes or so before reaching the iron fence of the wood. Beyond this fence was the private property of the Kwanji. It was bereft of any awkward no trespassing signs. The tall, overbearing iron fence was more than enough to remind visitors that they were unwelcome there. Sojiro casually pushed on the iron gate. Only 2 days had passed since the end of final exams, and he already seemed more than comfortable with the idea of entering the wood alone. The path to the mansion from inside the wood carved and bent like a snake. It took about 15 minutes to reach the mansion on this path. He could have chosen to ignore the long incline and travel in a straight line through the wood, but he would have expended significantly more energy in doing so. Not using the wooded path was a sensible option, barring emergencies. Upon entering this foyer, Sojiro heard a conversation coming from the drawing room. It was no doubt Alko and Alice. Sojiro decided to join them. Ever since the final exams had ended, Alko and Alice had switched from their daily routine to a more irregular schedule. Alko would disappear into Alice's room in the west wing of the mansion for a while, where she would remain. And Alice would go into Alko's room, not to be seen again. Or they would vanish into the corridor, leading around to the rear of the mansion, doing who knows what, where Sojiro was most certainly not allowed to enter. Not that he was interested in what they were doing, since Alko and Alice did not seem to want to include him either, serving both parties nicely. For the time being, the Kwanji estate was pretty peaceful.
Tadaima.
Sojiro quietly opened the door to the drawing room. Even though they tried not to be involved with each other's business, Sojiro made a habit to greet them. The two girls sat across from him on the sofa. On a table in front of them was a large, extravagantly decorated mirror. Alko was dressed for comfort, wearing jeans instead of her usual skirt. In stark contrast, Alice was dressed in her usual all black. Even though the break from school was well underway, the witch still insisted on wearing black. As Alko had explained, it was probably because it was too much effort for Alice to wear anything else. Sojiro thought that was that he would like to see her wear something else different. Okay. Alko and Alice seemed to be in the middle of some sort of dispute. The air in the drawing room was tense. They both ignored his greeting. Alice only briefly looked up at him.
じゃあ、東川の視点は？あそこの柱は白色だし、そう簡単には奪われないでしょ？
ええ。今のところ東川は侵食されていないけど、一つ隣の鈴穂の視点が消された以上、楽観はできないわ。残りの割り出しは今までより早くなる。
そっか。一個釣れれば、あとは芋づる式だもんね。反省したわ。甘く見てたのはこっちの方だった。ここからは1週間単位の攻防になるわね。
The two continued their heated discussion from opposite sides of the table. Alko neglected to even glance up at Sojiro. Sojiro sensed that she wanted to concentrate on the discussion at hand.
でも解せないな。 あの夜に人形を出してくるタイミングといい、隠し方だけは一級品なうちの視点を短期間で特定することといい、こいつまず間違いなく市内にアジトを敷いてるわよね。なのになんで結界に異常がないんだろう。三崎市一帯の索敵網はもう100年近く破られたことがないのに。
Akko bit her nails nervously, while Alice nodded along. It seemed as though she was wondering the same thing.
母もここの結界には触れなかった。岬の結界をかいくぐるには、あなたのおじいさんかそれ以上の技量を持つ魔術師でないと難しい。けどそれほどの魔術師なら逆に気配は隠しきれない。何か特殊な音響法かもしれないわね。ここ数年新しいサークルの話は聞かないけど。
何？シャーウッドの森？メイキングなら以前アリスの霧が粉砕したじゃない。あれ以上の音響があるっていうの？
例えばの話よ。今回の相手はこちら以上の技量を持っているか、こちらの知らない技術を持っているか、どちらにせよ評価を改めるべきね。私たち気づかないうちに追い詰められているのかも。
The two fell silent. Sojiro, after some internal deliberation, decided to break the silence.
やあ、ただいま。
Okay. Akko finally looked up at him in response to his hesitant declaration.
いいからお風呂に入ってきたら。汚れてるわよ、宗十郎。
Damn. And with that, Akko returned her gaze to the mirror. Alex briefly looked up at Sojiro again before returning her gaze to the mirror. Perhaps feeling at least somewhat satisfied with his greeting was acknowledged, Sojiro left the drawing room and closed the door behind him. Akko was right. His clothes were a little soiled.
そうだな。もったいないけど、確かに。
Sojiro returned to his room, thinking that a bath might actually feel pretty nice in this cold weather, despite not really having broken a sweat at all during the day. He climbed the stairs from the foyer and up the second flight into the attic. Unlike the other rooms in the mansion, this one had no frills to its decor. It was a little cumbersome to use as a living space, but comfortable enough for Sojiro. Everywhere else in the mansion was a little too gaudy for his taste. As far as shelter and a place to sleep went, Sojiro was more than satisfied with his accommodation. There was no electricity in the attic. The only light was that what crept in from the small skylight. Not that Sojiro minded, he was more accustomed to living without electricity than living with it. With only faint winter light to guide him, he readied a change of clothes and a towel before heading down to the foyer. Despite the magnificent size of the mansion, there was only one bath in the whole building. And not a particularly large one at that. Whoever the architect was, he or she must have thought a bath to be so important, or perhaps whatever. Sojiro descended to the foyer and made his way to the back of the stairs. He knocked on the door to the bath and expected there was no answer from the other side. The other two occupants of the mansion were still talking in the drawing room. After confirming it was unoccupied, Sojiro quietly entered the bathroom. Even though Sojiro was not aware of it himself, as was common for him, The only hobby he had acquired since coming from the mountain was taking a nice, relaxing bath. I don't like touching my hair sometimes. I don't know why. Feels nice. Sojiro had left, but the two girls were still locked in their heated discussion. Needless to say, the topic of the conversation was still that of an outsider mage who had appeared in Misaki City last month. This was, after all, the problem that had occupied their time before this whole situation with Sojiro arose, dealing with and eliminating the interloper who had set his or her sights on their territory.
今まではおとりにばっかり食いついてたから甘く見てたけど、それも計算づくだったのかしらね。こっちが油断してる隙に本命を一つ奪われた。この相手との戦いはこれからが本番ってことか。
The situation grew more dire by the day. Until only a couple of days ago, the enemy had limited themselves to small skirmishes, but now they had shifted to a full-on offensive. Ako had two major bounded fields she used for defense. One, the larger of the two, was placed around Misaki City to detect magical energy and magecraft. This was used to observe and monitor visitors from outside the city. It was initially set up by Aozaki ancestors, the administrators of this territory. It had no way to be removed. The other was set up to energize and manage its ley lines from within the territory. The 5 sigils carved into the earth made up a standard square-type array, protecting all that lay within its bounds. After some manipulation of the mana flow, the power within was directed to accumulate at the Kwanji estate. This is to say the bounded field existed to monopolize the magical energy within Misaki City. There were 5 sigils in total, with the Kwanji estate located at the center. If all 5 sigils were forcibly removed, Alco jurisdiction over the territory would be in title only. Without the power of the land to back them up, they would be forced to fight back against their invaders on equal grounds, with only their own innate ability to protect them. The only reason Alice and the inexperienced Ako were able to defend this territory so far was because of these 2 fields. The dragonet that notified Aozaki of any threats was also her lifeline. But this time, their enemy had somehow slipped through the cracks and was running rampant. This is what the girls had to face up to.
どちらにせよ時間の問題ね。視点がすべて潰されたら、いよいよここでの籠城になるけど。いいの、青子。
ん？別にいいんじゃないの？アリスの言う通り、残りの視点を消されるのは時間の問題なんだし。そりゃ敵のアジトを発見できれば同じだけど、それは絶対必要ってわけでもないでしょ。視点を消されても私にはあんまり関係ないし。何より館の守りはあんたがいる限り万全だしね。あっちの方からやってきてくれるなら、それこそ飛んで火にいるよ。他に心配事なんてないでしょ。
そうね。敵が一人だけなら、その時は鏡の範囲をここに集中させて戦場にすればいい。私たちにとってその方が有利だったわ。
Alice touched the mirror on the table with her pale fingers. The surface of the mirror rippled like water. The mirror was another protector of Misaki City, separate from Aozaki bounded fields. More accurately, it was a ploy that existed only to protect Alice Kwanji, rather than Misaki City itself. It generated a thick fog and acted as an invitation to any visitor, drawing them to the board game-like world. Alice referred to only as the mirror, but it was known to her friends as the mirror of slumber. This was the magecraft that Alice Kwanji wielded. Within the rippling surface of the mirror, an image of a castle began to form, and also lush forest, a field, and a river. Ako stared at the mirror in silence, before suddenly jumping to her feet off the sofa.
そうと決まれば、あとは行動あるのみね。
Get back.
出かけるわよ、アリス。とにかく現場を見ないことには始まらない。
Alice let out a tired sigh in response to Ako's determination. Didn't give the mirror a gentle caress. The sound of dripping water filled the room. The mirror began to consume the table in a thick fog of a single caress from Alice.
順番に回るのなら帰るのは朝になるわね。
まあまあ、そう億劫がらないで。ところでアリス、火の五芒星の退去ってこうだっけ？
Ako traced a shape in the air with her fingers. She mimed a star shape starting from the top, moving down and to the right, and then there's the upper left and so on.
そろそろ壊すこと以外も覚えないとダメよ、青子。
Alice sat up from the sofa, letting out a heavy sigh. They both took their coats from their hangers and left the drawing room.
失礼ね。私だって日々成長してるわよ。この間のおまじないだってちゃんと成功したんだから。
おまじない？
簡単な暗示の呪文。ほら、アリスが教えてくれた軽く弱くうまく早くチクタクチクタク急げや急げってやつ。
それ本当？
ほんともほんと。後で総重量に聞いてみなさい。
Alice swallowed her words, clearly displeased. She likely stopped herself in time to realize it was not worth the effort to take issue with it.
けど、留守中、その彼はどうするの？
大丈夫でしょう。アリスの西館と開かずの間に入らなきゃ即死するようなことは。
Aga responded hastily as she opened the door to the foyer. As soon as she did, just as quickly as Alice's thought had gotten stuck in her throat, Ako suddenly froze, unable to speak. What?
ですって。
For a moment, Ako wasn't sure who was standing before her. She could only stare at the glinting rays of sunlight creeping into the room as she reeled from the shock. His scars? Her mind was completely blank. It was as if she had been woken up from a nap, or a jack-in-the-box had just opened in her face. Sojo was probably the only person who truly knew how long that dumbfounded silence went on.
あんた、こんなところで何してるのよ、一体。
Ako had finally found her voice.
何って着替えてるんだけど。
Sojo's response was matter of fact. He offered no explanation as to why he was changing in the foyer and not the bathroom. Ako was too shocked to read him from the riot act. What does that mean? Sojiro was putting his shirt on after presumably just getting out from the bath. His neck was wrapped in bandages. He was completely shirtless. And why do you have the neck? His hair was wet, but his skin wasn't glistening for the steam of hot water. He must have washed himself with nothing more than cold water. Though shocked as to why anyone would do such a thing in this cold weather, she let it slide. The source of her silent stupor was simply his body. Until now, she only seen him as harmless. Without his clothing to hide him, however, he was more fit than she ever imagined. For a rough mountain upbringing where one body and strength meant survival, perhaps he was even a bit underdeveloped. On top of that,
それ傷跡なの？
Ako asked cautiously. Sojiro followed her gaze. He had something that looked like burn scars on his arm. It was a random in appearance, nothing like Ako Magic Crest, with its ordered patterns.
ああ、これか。ずいぶん前に野犬の群れに襲われて噛みつかれたんだ。命があっただけでも幸運だから、傷跡ぐらいはご愛嬌だ。
A long time ago. He must be talking about when he was a child. Though his life was saved, it was apparent that he hadn't been able to receive proper treatment deep in the mountains where he lived. Those scars were proof of that. Considering it had happened so many years ago, it was likely they would never fade. If only for an instant, Ako thought the wide scars left on his skin suited his lean body perfectly.
確かに、あまり気持ちのいいものじゃないな。自分の部屋で着替えるべきだった。
Sojiro sounded slightly ashamed as he put his shirt on, looking at Ako stand there in cold silence. The two girls had no response. Sojiro headed for the stairs to go back to his room.
ちょっと待って、宗十郎。
Sojiro stopped and turned around.
なんていうか。
Ako looked away awkwardly, apparently not knowing why she had stopped him herself.
なんか青崎らしくない。さっきから変だけど、熱でもあるんじゃないのか？あれから満足に寝てないだろう、二人とも。
He was of course referring to the final exams. From Sojiro's perspective, the amount of work Ako put in seemed strange.
熱なんてないったら。そうじゃなくて、どうしてこんなところで着替えてたのよ、あんたは。
Ako was doing her best to keep up appearances. But for some reason, Sojiro was hesitant to say too much more.
それは、その。言いづらいんだが、下着の管理はきちんとした方がいいと思う。どっちだかは知らないけど。
Alex, who had been completely silent behind Ako, couldn't resist responding to that statement. Although she hadn't wanted to get involved, this was something she couldn't ignore. Let's see Alex's face. Okay.
言っておくけど、それは青子だから。
Okay. Alex's response was quick and to the point.
洗濯の当番は確かに私だったけど。
Ako seemed like she was just holding back on going critical.
とにかくもうすぐアルバイトだから着替えてくる。
Seeing that those two were probably about to get into an argument, Soichiro took his chance to leave. And with that, Soichiro briskly left the scene.
Alice.
とりあえず片付けてくるわ。
Alice calmly walked into the bathroom. A few minutes later, just as the two were about to head out and fulfill their duties as mages, Ako remembered something she wanted to ask.
そうだ、アリス。傷ってあれのこと？
あれは傷跡じゃないわ。だってあんなにも誇らしいもの。
I wonder what they mean by that. Ako agreed. What had impressed her the most about those scars was how he treated them simply as part of his past, absent of any regret. Ako wouldn't have gone as so far as to say he was proud, but it seemed her instincts had been correct. That and one more thing.
でも一つだけはっきりしたわ。それじゃあ、不覚にも見惚れてたのは私一人じゃなかったってことよね、アリス。
Aqua smiled warily at Alice, like a child who knew they were doing something they shouldn't with their friend. Alice tried to ignore her as best she could. She looked away without saying a word. Ako let out a satisfied snicker and began walking towards the front door.
じゃ、行こうか。まずはあの公園からでいいでしょ。
It's been weird.
今回の件はあそこから全てが始まったわけだし。
Why is there a lack of music through a lot of these scenes recently? She was talking about the local park in Misaki. The place where they had run into the enemy puppet and, of course, where the involvement of Soshito had all begun. Yeah, man, what the hell? What's all the music? It's been so quiet. This entire chapter. What the fuck? Is my game bugged? Or did Nasu purposely put no music for like an hour? Early the next morning. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Most people were still in their beds sleeping. Hold on, man. Time out. What the heck? Did I make a change in the settings? The music. What the heck? Auto adjustment. Oh, fuck. You could do that. I didn't even do that. I didn't even put that. That's weird. Okay, whatever. Although some 24-hour convenience stores had opened last year, Misaki Town was still very much living in the good old days of the early 80s. Even the tofu shop in the shopping district, known for opening earlier than anyone else, didn't open until 6. But this was the late 80s, during half of Japan bubble economy. During the latter half of Japan bubble economy. It was a time where metropolitan areas never slept. Those in the countryside, however, remained in the past. Their homes were blanketed in silence, the streets were empty of commuters, and not a single automobile could be heard. The sun was barely peeking over the horizon. The town would still be asleep for at least an hour longer before it began waking up. It was during that time that someone stepped onto the Kawanji estate. Soichiro was working the late shift during winter vacation and had just come home. This is a weird decision, man. I'm just so... I don't know. It's been so quiet. It's just sound effects for a little bit and voice acting. Why is it so quiet? What are they trying to go for? He moved quietly to the drawing room where he wouldn't wake up Akko and Alice, who presumably still asleep. The Quantia estate had a few established rules. One of those rules forbade more Japanese tea. What? The new rule had only came into effect 3 days prior. It was proposed after Alice saw Sojiro drinking green tea in the kitchen after dinner one night. But she don't like Japanese tea?
Oh?
Looking back on it, the decision was made rather abruptly. The single gasp of surprise was all Alice said. She grasped her head as if she was battling the most vicious of migraines, calling for Akko, and then made a decision to ban all Japanese teas from this mansion. What the hell? By some miracle, Akko managed to negotiate and keep social privilege to barley tea during the summer.
だいたいイギリス産だって初めはグリーンティーが主流だったじゃない。
Akko had clearly had a nerve with this argument. Man, is Alice a Westaboo? She's a Westaboo, man. Akko stared at Alice, fairly certain why she was so taken aback by Sojiro's action. Okay, now the music's here. What the fuck did music went for an hour? Sojiro grumbled to himself while sipping his hot green tea. He didn't realize that Alice was upset because he had poured his green tea into a teacup meant for black tea. Oh. In Sojiro's defense, this was the only teacup that Alice had given him permission to use. Oh, that's why he did it. Okay. At any rate, the early morning was his to enjoy. This was his moment to relax with the Japanese tea set to smuggled in. He didn't use the time to read books or watch TV. He just drank his tea and gazed fondly at the garden, or rather the dense woods outside. Sojiro simply sat, relaxed, and let his mind wander. About an hour passed. Just as he was beginning to feel refreshed, he heard sounds coming from the foyer. He knew it was Akko and Alice talking, so he rushed to hide his teacup, teapot, and tea leaves in the kitchen. Damn, green tea banned. Hiding the contraband was easy enough, considering just how many unused shells there were in the kitchen. Sojiro was perturbed by how they wasted potential of such a splendid kitchen.
あら、早いのね、宗十郎。
Aga spoke as she took off her white down jacket. Next to her, Alice silently took off her black coat.
いや、今帰ってきたんだ。天城浜の食品工場に深夜のパートで入ることになって、その帰り。
Magihama. Sojiro stuck his head out of the kitchen and gestured that he was about to put some water to boil. Damn, he's trying to be sneaky. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alice tilted her head slightly at him. It wasn't that she thought his gesturing was funny or anything like that. She's suspicious, man.
天城浜から
Alice glanced up at the clock in the drawing room. An expression darkened. Oh.
どうしたの、アリス。
Uh-oh. Akko asked this from her comfortable seat on the sofa.
別に
Damn, she knows he's lying. She's like, wait a minute. Alice responded indifferently before finally sitting down as well.
宗十郎、砂糖は一杯だけだからね。
Akko yelled her matter-of-course request into the kitchen. Sojiro didn't respond, but it was affirmative silence. This was the result of 2 entire nights worth of cramming that Alice knew nothing about.
アリスは？
私はミルクだけでいいけど。
Alice responded out of obligation.
了解、ミルクティーだね。
For some reason, Sojiro did fully answered Alice's request.
ま、いいけど、いちいち突っ込んでたらキリがないし。
Okay. Oh, whatever.
それより珍しいじゃない。アリスがティーバッグのお茶飲むなんて。
Teabag.
今日は疲れたから、たまには。
It seems she had allowed herself to accept another kindness, at least for today.
ま、いいか。それより宗十郎。
Sojiro.
あんた、さっきお菓子のこと言わなかった？
Uh-oh.
え？別に言ってないぞ、そんなこと。
そう、ならいいんだけど。
The two were conversing over a distance of 4 yards. Alice decided to add her opinion to the conversation.
しずきくんがおかしなことを言わない日はないと思うわ、私。
Her quiet tone was luckily just low enough that Sojiro couldn't hear her from the kitchen.
そりゃそうだけど、今ちょっと変だったでしょ？
What?
何が引っかかったのかまではわからないんだけどさ。
Hey man, just let him drink green tea.
そうね。会話自体は普通だったけれど、内容を考えてみると、どこかおかしいわね。
Akako became gradually more irritated as she failed to grasp what had been odd about the conversation. Just then, Sojiro appeared holding a tray with a teacup in each of them. For each of them.
何を話してるんだ？単に新しいアルバイトを始めただけだろ。
He put the cups down on the black table without making even the slightest sound. Alice couldn't complain how proper his job as a waiter had made him. When she didn't say anything out loud, she did nod in his direction to show some gratitude. Alco, however.
天城浜だっけ？あそこってスタジアムがあるところでしょ？ツアーの会場になるから時々行くけど。
The student council president is supposed to want a student love rock bands. This is the 80s, right? That's pretty normal. Akko was secretly obsessed with a number of bands and used to travel way out of town just to see them perform live when she was in middle school. Of course, this was a world that Sojiro was far from familiar with.
それより、また新しいバイト始めたんだ。そんなに働いてどうする気なのよ、宗十郎は。
ああ、よく聞いてくれたね。本人の名誉のために名前は伏せるけど、誰かさんと誰かさんが俺の少ない収入を無慈悲に奪っていくから働く先を増やしたんだ。
This was as much resistance as Sojiro was able to give. Akko lifted her teacup to her mouth, as if she was completely oblivious to Sojiro's monologue.
それは大変ね。
Damn. Sounds like a you problem. Alice said this as she set her teacup down quietly. There were some things she did not understand. Akko had to hold back her laughter as she looked at Alice and Sojiro.
言った自分が未熟だった。
Sojiro's shoulder fell as he said this. He took a sip of his black tea, still unsure about the taste.
まあ、アルバイトが多いって分かってくれるだけでいいか。そういったわけだから、冬休み中は夜も留守にする。例の薬はアルバイト先で飲むしかないんだけど。
ああ、それなら心配いらないわ。もうあれはやめたから。いちいち作るのも面倒だし、もっとしずきくんに似合うのを見つけてきたの。
Ako had a huge ominous grin on her face. She put her hand into her jacket pocket and pulled out a little paper bag. It was a small circular object about 20 inches in diameter, wrapped up nicely like a present.
はい、これは入居祝い。これからはそれをつけておくのよ、宗十郎。
What is it? Sojo opened the paper bag. Inside was a white belt. But it wasn't a belt for putting around your waist to keep your pants up. To put it as clear as possible, it was a collar. Oh.
青子。
Alex's expression darkened at this turn of events. But it wasn't clear whether it was her friend's insidiousness or sympathy for Sojiro that concerned her. What's up, John?
どう？気に入った？
Ako was clearly a little crazy. At least she wasn't totally serious. It was obvious it was at least half a prank, just to see how Sojiro would react. But Sojiro was suddenly considering the collar he had just been gifted.
意味はつかみかねるけど、こういうものを人からもらうのはこれが初めてだ。
It actually sounded like this would be a happy memory for him. Alice narrowed her eyes at what was transpiring. That's the word.
けど、これは何に使うんだ？
簡単よ。金庫寺と同じで、飼い犬が主人に逆らうと首を絞めるの。あっちは頭につけてたけど、それよりは首のがマシでしょ？
Sojiro grimaced, but he finally understood Ako's mean-spirited gift. This is a nice song. He really wanted to ask her what kind of person comes up with such an even idea.
つまり、秘密をばらしたり逆らったりしたら首が締まると。
Is that true?
やっぱり熱でもあるんじゃないのか、青崎は。
Netsu, you have a fever?
あら、首輪は嫌？せっかく宗十郎に似合いそうなものを見つけたのに。
Ako still had an evil grin on her face. But Sojiro had a surprising response to this gift that Ako had clearly gotten as a prank.
それもそうか。毎日毒を飲むよりはマシだし、このベルト自体いいものだし。うん、気に入った。ありがとう、青崎。
He spoke 100% truthfully. Ako's face contorted in disbelief, and she could only mumble if he was serious.
人の行為はどんなものだって嬉しいよ。それに、それが青崎ならなおさらだ。
And with that, Sojiro put the belt around his neck. He placed it over the bandage already there.
こんな感じかな。きついけどそのうち慣れるだろ
Despite his words to the contrary, Sojiro tugged at the belt uncomfortably and adjusted it. It was such a perverse scene that even Ako's face was red as a beet, even though this had been all been her idea. Perhaps it was because it gave her such a clear reminder of the scars that she had seen the day before.
よし。止め方はこれでいいのか。
Is that the collar? I can't tell.
ね
It's kind of hard to tell. Ako retreated guiltily as Sojiro came closer to her to check the fit of his new collar.
と思ってちゃわからないのに。いいよ。アリスに聞くから。
Sojiro shifted his gaze from Ako to Alice. Alice stared intently at Sojiro wearing his new collar and said,
ロックね。青子、趣味に走りすぎよ。
Okay. She could not have put it any more bluntly.
いや、やかましい、そんなんじゃない。もういい、とにかくそういうことよ。これからはその首輪が薬の代わりよ。せいぜい秘密を守ることね。
Well, what happened? Will it choke him? Ako was oddly emphatic as she spoke before stomping off towards the hallway.
それと、これからお昼まで仮眠を取るけど、くだらないことで起こしたら殺すから。
Okay. Ako slammed the door behind her as she left the drawing room. Sojiro stared in amazement.
なんで青崎はいつもいきなり怒るんだろ
He murmured to himself, forgetting that Alice was standing right there in front of him.
しずきくんには悪意が通じないからでしょう。気にする必要はないわ。
う。悪意って今のが
Alice looked up at Sojiro in innocent response. There was a glimmer in her eyes that showed surprise at her current actions.
なんでもないから気にしないで。
With a terse reply, she returned to her usual expressionless self. There was no use explaining Ako's feeling. Ako bought that collar for the sole purpose of annoying Sojiro and causing mischief. When things didn't turn out how she planned, her conscience got the better of her. Sojiro mistakenly thought that Ako was angry at him, when in reality she was only angry at herself. Alice didn't bother telling Sojiro all these heartwarming details though. Not because it was too much work, just because she was never one to have meaningless conversation. That was how she was been raised.
しずきくんはこれからどうするの？
Alice suddenly changed the topic. Sojiro thought for a while before replying.
夕方までゆっくりするよ。ここのところ忙しすぎた。せっかくだからテレビも見ていたいし、お昼には青崎を起こさないといけないだろ。
そう。なら静かにしていて。
I'm surprised they got cable, dude. In the mountains. Alice let out a gentle sigh and rose to her feet. Just keep it quiet. Well, they got electricity in them. I don't know. Sojiro will understand exactly what she meant by those words in just a few minutes. Give me a moment. I gotta decide if I want to keep going or not. It's been pretty rough. Honestly, usually. Two hours usually. You know they have electricity, but you didn't know they have cable. Yeah, it's pretty surprising to have cable in the mountains, especially considering it's like what, the 80s, 90s, and it's a small town. So who the hell put cable up there? But the sun shining through the window was bright. It was just about 9 o'clock, about time for the morning telebi programs to get going. Sojo was sitting on the sofa, staring out the window at the scene outside. The view from the neighboring sunroom showed the courtyard in a state of disrepair. Sojo could appreciate the outdoors in both its natural wild state and when tamed by human hands.
俺は近いうちに何とかせねばなるまい。
Let me make it tired. Sojo muttered to himself, turning another page in his textbook. On the table before him was a mathematics textbook and a notebook with Alco's name on it. At a first glance, he appeared to be a diligent student studying on his day off. He was in truth only doing so as a compromise. He was giving up the main intent of watching the morning television show. The reason why he gave up was simple. He was being considerate of Alice, who sat in front of him, with her nose buried in a book. Instead of holding himself up in her room, she brought out her old dusty book to read. Here's what she meant that she said to keep quiet. Sojo found it difficult to turn on the TV.
とりあえずしばらくテレビは控えよう。
Telebi. With that decided, Sojo resigned himself to reviewing some of the practice problem he gotten wrong. In the drawing room, for some reason, there wasn't any particular purpose in doing it there, but he had no real reason to study back up in his room. And so there he was, leisurely highlighting his textbook with Alice there in the same room. So, to Sojiro, there really was no difference between his room in the attic and the drawing room with Alice. To be fair, he could probably live with a tiger as long as it didn't cause any trouble. Fuck. There was both Sojiro's biggest strength and his biggest weakness. I'm having trouble reading, dude. Before he knew it, the clock was showing 11. He spent 2 hours doing his math problems, but wasn't even halfway finished. More than that, he was disappointing himself for lacking the courage to speak up at all.
それに比べて青崎は頑張ってる。
He dropped his mechanical pencil into the notebook and watched it roll away. He knew that Alco and Alice were busy with something since final exam had ended. He also knew that she had hardly gotten any sleep recently. If she had been able to ignore him during exam, she probably would have an easier time. Today's nap was probably the first proper sleep Alco had gotten in days. Though she showed no signs of exhaustion despite the fact that she must have hit peak long ago, she always seemed raring to go. It wasn't that she was trying to act tough. That was just the kind of person she was. Always positive, always tough as nails. And that was exactly why she came off as completely irrational at times. Though it was the case, you could probably describe Alice in exactly the same way. Sojiro couldn't help but feel a little inadequate when he saw their single-minded focus on their goals. Bum, bum, bum. He's been so preoccupied with adjusting to his new life that he neglected to think about what was going to do something. Think about this cast a gloomy cloud over his heart. He felt like he never found a clear purpose in life like Alko and Alice seemed to have. At least not since he left the mountains. They never explained why he left the mountains. His old life was gone now, never to return. It was like a kite, cut from a string, destined to fly only where the wind took it. And without anything to ground him, he couldn't do anything about the empty future that lay ahead. He could only let himself fly where the current took him, slowly losing sight of the ground below.
そうだな。便利なものは溢れているけど、本当に望むものは。
The town was full of options, but he could find nothing. He asked himself the same question time and time again. It never made him feel any better. If anything, it only made him feel worse and worse. That, or maybe he felt that limiting his own ineptitude will lead to finding some kind of goal or desire someday. Tired of his own sniveling, Sojiro dejectedly closed his notebook. When he looked up, he saw his own face reflected back at him in the TV screen. His new collar was there around his neck, looking as out of place as ever. Perhaps a fool like him who felt weak when faced with other strengths did need to wear a collar after all.
まったくだ。悩むのは一丁前になってから。
He shook off his thoughts of doom and gloom and sat up straight. After psyching himself up a little, he stood up from the sofa.
よし。何か作るけど、アリスは？
Sojiro asked casually. While Sojiro had been doing his own thing, he had remained mindful of Alice. Alice looked up, surprised at hearing her name. She had completely forgotten Sojiro was even there.
私
Okay.
ああ。アリス、朝から紅茶しか飲んでないだろ。どうせ作るなら、いっぱい作った方がお得なんだ。
Without waiting for a reply, Sojiro headed off to the kitchen while putting on his apron. Alice tried to wave at him to stop, but then he already disappeared into the kitchen. He was hesitant to walk all the way in there just to tell him she didn't need anything. Besides, she was actually hungry. Sochiro's proposal made sense and her empty stomach agreed. Alice was hungry and Sochiro was going to make lunch. Making lunch for both of them would save the time and trouble of cooking two separate meals. There was no logical reason for Alice to refuse his gesture. She decided to stay quiet and tactically accept his offer.
変な人
Like that. Alice is I don't know, she's pretty cool. She's pretty goofy. She whispered the word softly, not for anyone in particular to hear but herself. Alright. I think it's a good stopping point. I don't know about you. So... How you save? This one. Place a bookmark. Save. Alright. GG's. GG's. We'll play more Mihoyo next time. That's enough for one day for me. GG's. Middle. I saved already, right? Extra. Archive. Damn, dude. Only one more chapter for 8. So that's gonna be the next scene is the last one for the chapter. Go back. This game is short. I mean, not short. It's long, dude. It's been 20 fucking hours. But this game is very uneventful. 21 hours. What kind of food he'll make for Alice? We will only know next time. Not today. I'm too tired. I am very tired. Hold on. Let me put some music. I need something chill. I don't want to hear Guilty Gear right now. It's a pretty good song. Put some Nukitashi. It's probably my favorite visual novel I read this year. Did I read Tsukihime remake this year? That's tough. I don't know if I want to count that because I read it in December, right? Technically, I just finished it in what, New Year's or something. I don't count that. I think Nukitashi is my favorite visual novel this year that I read. It's good. Let's do something else. I like this one a lot. What's Magician? Let's see. Oh yeah. Tsukihime remake. Don't feel like it. I want Nukitashi. Man, this song is so good. This song is so good. I love Nukitashi. This visual novel is so good. What visual novels did I read this year? I don't remember. I guess I can always just check out my own YouTube. Because I uploaded stuff, right? I view your own channel. There we go. What did I play? Not the playlist. I read, oh yeah, Amagami. Needy Streamer Overload. Overload, yeah. Nukitashi 2 Heart Remake. Misai? Was Misai this year? I don't fucking remember. I think Misai was this year. Let me check it out. Oh, 2024. It wasn't this year. So everything after this. So 2 Heart, Nukitashi, Needy Streaming, Amagami, and now Mihoyo. Alright. These 4. And then Tsukihime I finished in New Year's. What else did I play after that? I think that's it, right? Yeah, I guess. And Nukitashi's the GOAT. Oh, I guess, oh. I haven't read this one yet. One day. Let's see. Almost done with chapter 8. Nice. Any news? Any news? 100,000? Alright. Nice. Nice you. Nice you. Nice you. 100,000. Anything here? What's this? Shirabune announces Uichi, Io of the a curse. The latest visual novel of Maggot Baits. A group of 4 men and women make their way to a remote island as the curtain rises to tell crime, murder, and curses. I just see 4 girls. What's the men and women? They're murderers. Bum, 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 ba-da, ba-da. What's Kevin talking about? Any anime? Kill Annie? That's Sunday. That's Geef. Laura. I should watch this anime. I keep saying that every time. This Little Mermaid anime. Cute. Oh, is she eating a thingy? Whoa, what's with that stitch on her tongue? You can see her ears like seashells. My Little Mermaid. Alright. And then the Kill Annie anime. That outfit reminds me of Saber. That outfit seems popular in anime, doesn't it? Like a blue dress and a white shirt. I feel like I've seen that a lot. I don't know why. It's a good outfit though. And then fighting game thing. Yeah. No new food news, right? I don't have anything to talk about. I'm gonna be honest. I got nothing to talk about. So might end it. Might watch an anime before I go to sleep. I don't know which anime to watch. I should catch up on this one. See what the newest one is about. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. What's everyone playing right now? I'm just curious. There's no game for me until really the end of the month, which is Mortal Shell 2. American Truck Simulator. I'm still playing the Hollow game. Nothing. What's everyone playing here? Street Fighter 6, oh yeah, the new DLC character. Damn, dude, Skyrim. Skyrim, bro. Do I have Skyrim? I don't have Skyrim, right? Oh, I do have Skyrim. Holy fuck, I only played for 31 minutes, though. I should get the mods, right? I want to play Oblivion or Skyrim one day. I don't know when that one day will be. I want to remake my build. I don't want to do fists. I want to swing a sword. That's what I want to do. I want to get a cool sword. But I'll think about it. One day. 14 online. No. Bum, 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 bum. Song's so good. Alright, GG's. I'm tired as hell. That's why I stopped playing Mihoyo. I can't read, dude, right now. I got nothing else to talk about, so... Unless I can find something to talk about. We can look at this for a bit. Anime IRL? Alright, let's do it. How many hentais will I come across? What do you mean, Big Chunkus? 6, 7. Oh yeah, go, yeah, I forgot about that news. Graphic cards are expensive, dude. Isn't graphic cards like $5,000 now? Let me see. Nvidia. What's it, 5090 or whatever? Holy fuck. $2,000. You're waiting for a Type Lumina? I'm not. If it comes out, cool. If it doesn't, well, whatever. Holy shit! This costs $4,300. Holy shit! Holy shit! Is this real? This can't be real. Huh? This costs $5,000 at Walmart? The 5090? Oh, fuck. Tough NVIDIA. This is a fake website, right? This is not really Walmart. Is this really Walmart? This looks legit. Oh, shit. Damn, dude. I didn't know it was that bad already. How much did this used to cost? What the hell? Damn, even new fucking egg. What? That's crazy. This shit's like $5 grand. Oh! Oh, dude, that's a used car. That's it. That's a used car. Well, to be fair, I don't know any used cars that cost that low in 2026. I think all used cars are like, oh my god. Oh my god. How do you build a PC? What does a 1K PC look like? Does this come with a graphics card? Oh, it does. 3050. Oh, okay. That's not bad. Damn, dude. The 5090 is $6,000. $7,000. What the fuck? What the fuck? Alright, I gotta go to PC. I gotta go to RPC. I gotta look at my PC bros. Let's go to the new. You bought the 5090 at MSRP? It's now 3 times more expensive. You think you're making money? That just means that when it will burn, you have to buy a new one, but an increased price you're cheering for. Okay, economics 101. He's right. Damn, dude, PC gamer bros. How do you guys do that? Is that his fucking router? That's funny. Okay. High-end graphics card for gaming. 660. Okay. Welcome to sadness. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. What else? Should I buy it? What is that? SSD. Whoa. How much it cost? No way. 600 bucks? Wait, what is this? What kind of... What is this? 900 TB. Damn, that's a lot. That's a fucking lot. What the hell? 900 terabyte. Holy shit. What is this? Let's see. Is he trolling? This guy's trolling. He bought a 5090 for 2,000. And now it's like worth 5,000. Dude, this is bullshit, man. Dude, don't buy a fucking graphics card right now. 5080. 5070 VRAM. 9070 XC. $5070 Ti. Oh shit. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of people fucking posting in PC. PC bro is still alive. 8 gigabyte of VRAM. Depends what you're doing. Shit. Oh yeah. Gigabyte. What's gigabyte? Oh, GPU prices up by 40% to Japan. The golden shower age. We're all getting pissed on, dude. Oh, man. What the hell? What do you do? What do people do for fun now? Everything's so expensive. You can't do anything for fun anymore, man. Man, I hate this world. This world sucks ass. Alright. I'm gonna lay on the ground. Hey, man. I'm done. I'm done with this world. You can go ahead and end it. Go ahead, God. End this world. Let a giant meteor crash. Fuck this. Dude, everything's so fucking expensive. What the hell? This is bullshit. Devs and other manufacturers need to start suing the video and RAM manufacturers for the price hike. It's fucking bullshit. That's the government job. Yeah, sure, that is the government job. Damn, man. I'm in much of the same boat as everyone, annoyed by astronomical pricing, but I think your anger is misplaced. The current market supply problem is nearly entirely down to AI companies. Unless they negotiate some shady backroom deals. Blah 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 blah. Damn, man, I'm not reading all that. What's next? PSU hike by 50% cause fuck you. Fuck you indeed. What do we do? What do we do? I never seen the world get so bad as I am seeing it right now. I don't know what to do. What do we do? Get a new hobby? I guess. What kind of hobby? Everything revolves, for me, everything revolves around a computer. I don't even know what kind of hobby. I'm trying to look around. I think it's time, bros. I think we should all start reading a book again. Paper book. Fuck this digital bullshit. Oh, you know what? I could start playing my guitar again. I forgot I had a guitar. It's right there. I could just go start playing my guitar again, man. Fuck this shit. God damn it, man. Hey, I don't need a fucking computer for a guitar. But I do need a computer to look up songs that I want to play with the guitar. What the fuck do I'm trying to look around my room. What do I not need? Technology. I gotta avoid technology. Damn, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is just manga. Just start. Let's all go to Book a Million. Fuck yeah. Oh, I have Blu-rays. That's technically technology, but I don't need the computer for that. I got a Blu-ray player. Damn, fucking Sony. They're trying to make discs go away. Fuck. Okay, what else do I have? Hey man, I think we're all fucked. We're so fucked, dude. Oh my god. Gas prices going up. Fucking chicken wings went up and never went back down. Fucking GPU's going up. RAM went up. Fuck, man. What the fuck's next? Oh, man. The future sucks. God damn it. I need a new hobby. Let me look at anime gifts. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that either. I don't want to look at that. Oh. Rub his nose on it. Nice. Alright. Let's see. Anime gifts. Not anime gifts, anime IRL. I guess the only reason I look at that is because of the GPU. Yeah. Let me look at a little bit more. What did I say? When people must use most of their savings on daily needs to tighten their purse strings and the economy takes a hit. Damn. I don't want that kind of IRL. This is bullshit. Because your family, Mrs. Santa Claus, why do you never bring me presents to me? Because your family's poor. Get fucking good, kid. Alright, I'm good with that. Let's end it on that note. Alright, GG's. Appreciate everyone that stopped by. It's been cool. I'm head out. Have a good night. Later. Bye.